welcome to an episode of Modern Box. Thank you for joining me today. So, the quarterfinals are here, some of the teams are in, things are lighting up, I cannot believe it. Before we get into it, I'd just like to say thank you so much for everybody who subscribed. Thank you for joining me on the channel. I'm now over 400 subscribers and I cannot be happier. The support, the growth for the channel has just been insane. And thank you for everybody for their kind words and just helping me also improve my analysis, understanding obviously that I don't know how to pronounce every team player's name. Some of them are very different, but I try my best and I appreciate the community we're building here, guys. Thank you so much. Please share, subscribe also if you haven't yet, and join the community that we're building here as rugby-loving fans of world rugby in general. Thank you very much, guys. Let's get into it first. Today I'm going to talk about the English and the Australian game coming up first. What a cracker. Some interesting changes from both players. Both coaches are quite hot-headed in my opinion, so this is the kind of game where it's as much of a battle off the field as it is on the field. Checker and Jones love to rag each other. They love to take on interesting choices. Some interesting choices already team selection-wise coming up from this game. So what I'll be doing is I'm going to go through the English team, go through the Australian team, and then my pick for this game. And yeah, I'll be doing the same for all of the quarterfinals, so please check it out. If you want more of the historic results between these teams and anything like that, please check my matchup video. I will link it up here somewhere. And you can go check that out. I have a matchups video all history, but this is just focusing on team selection and my pick for Super Brew if you want to see that. Great. So, the English team. Interestingly enough here, probably the biggest shocker, forwards out. We got Farrell back in at fly-off. That's very interesting because this is what a lot of English fans and a lot of pundits have been saying, that this is what's actually helping the English team perform so well. It's that another play on the double playmaker move that New Zealand has been acting on quite heavily this year. But they dropped it. They're going for Farrell at fly-off. That's very interesting because I don't know if that's the right choice. I can see why he did it. And Eddie Jones clearly pretty much is like, the reason he's doing it because he's scared of Karevi. I'm not scared. He feels Karevi is a massive runner, and the Australian game is all about pace. It's all about phase play, large runs, and he needs a strong defensive, effectively backline. So it makes sense. It's just very interesting because I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of. That's a big change to make. With that being said, now you've got Tuolungi and Slade, Henry Slade out on your centres. Interesting, great players. Tuolungi has had a great World Cup. Slade, on the other hand, not so much. He's played a little bit in this World Cup, but effectively hasn't started for England since June. I'm not sure if that's going to be a problem, or maybe he's here to show X Factor and bring himself into this World Cup side for sure. I think this is going to be. Yeah, as I said, I'm concerned that Ford isn't there. He's had a great World Cup. 3 starts at fly-off and then he gets dropped to the bench effectively. What does that mean for his confidence and the pairing? Overall, though, you can't go wrong with it. It's a very similar style to the Six Nations in some regards, but I don't know. What I do think it reminds me a lot of in England played Wales in 2015 in the World Cup also, where it was all about trying to just overpower the attacking game of the opponents, and tactically Jones is a whiz kid here. So I get what he's trying to do. And obviously he feels it's the right move. It does make for some interesting choices on it, and we'll see how it goes. That's probably one of the biggest upsets in this selection. Some of the other ones are pretty consistent, no majors, with Marco Villapolo coming back on prop. You've got Johnny May playing his 50th game. Others are pretty consistent. It's not going to rock the boat too much. But that centre pairing could change this game. Is it the right move or isn't it? That's what everybody's asking right now. On the Australian side, taking up that front, and maybe where England don't have to worry too much, is Australia have gone for a very dependable forward pack again, with obviously Hooper now joining back into the team, and he's been talismanic for the team. In my opinion, actually outplaying even his old rival, his buddy and rival, effectively, Mr. Pocock on the other side. In my opinion, he's challenging him in that position. He's challenging him for the dominant force at that. And that's quite saying something, considering Pocock is for a long time, and still to some regard, is the world's best. So it's good to see, especially at stealing. So what probably the biggest Australian upset, and what's quite shocking in the Australian side, is we have Jordan Patawi. I know if I don't say this right, please explain how to say it, but I think it's Patawi. That's what the commentators here are pronouncing it. But effectively, he is pretty much new blood. 2 weeks ago debut, played mostly at wing, all wing for All Black, for the Wallabies, and now goes into outside centre. Very interesting choice. Very interesting. James O'Connor then dropping to the bench. The stalwart, the veteran dropping to the bench. going for this much younger talisman, and he is, I have to admit, a bright spot on the team. He had a great game against Uruguay, but I'm not sure if that's just because it's a great game against Uruguay. So we'll see. It's up in the air still. He definitely is a wonder kid, and a lot of people in Australia are touting, a lot of people across the world are saying he's definitely an up-and-coming star. I just think it's amazing that you're bringing him up against effectively not massive games, wing, and then swapping position to his, admittedly his preferred position is 13. But that is quite a massive swap for such a big game, especially if you're trying to take them on head on. And O'Connor has not had a bad tournament. I think he's been very dependable, very consistent, and has had some great plays for Australia, especially in the Wales game. So it'll be interesting to see. Now, another interesting thing, but Australia keep on doing this. So this is something that you cannot, as a coach, you're like, how do I even know who's going to play against? Is Leofano coming back to fly? So that's not all that different, but it is still pretty much almost every game now Australia's played a different comparing at 9 and 10, which has made it so unpredictable. You've got Genia now back there, which I think is the toughest pairing Australia's got, so I get that. I get it. Genia is outstanding. He really, in my opinion, is more of a fly-off for Australia than any of their fly-offs is. He's definitely the playmaker. He is the guy who's dictating the entire game for large parts of it, and that's good to see. And the other real a veteran and X-factor player that has come back is Kurtley Beale at 15. I think that's a good position for him, and also gives him the ability. And I've got a feeling that they're also trying their own spin on the double playmaker, with Beale and Genia now taking different positions on the field to try and see if they can light up some things. Australia are definitely focusing a lot more on getting the ball, so you've got their stunning back row, taking on trying to steal ball, slow down the English attack, but then increase their pace astronomically and attack out wide as much as they can with the quality attacking they've got. I'm sure Karevi and Patawai will actually do great jobs there at 12 and 13, so I think that's going to be quite good. I just don't know if that is a tested enough pairing, so we'll have to see how that goes. Overall, strong teams. It's interesting to see. You can see the focus on this game being all about the backline attack. I feel both teams think that their defense is sure enough, but it's all about backline attack, holding off the backline attack as much as can. But this is all backline. Forwards are pretty consistent. Both teams have a relatively settled forward pack, but their backlines are very, very, very up in the air. Both teams going for heavy changes there. So we'll see how it plays out. Other than that, obviously we've got Alalatoa going back at prop, also another new prop for the team compared to England. Also, I don't think the scrums are going to be where this game's going to be battled, won or lost. Australia will try and avoid it, and I agree with you, and England will try and play as much as possible into it. So that'll be interesting to see, but I think overall the focus is backline. So saying that, let's get into it. My pick. If I look at this game, it's going to be very much a case of who can strike first. Looking at history, England, in my opinion, have had a much stronger first half season, especially this year, and Australia a much stronger second half season. They're definitely able to strike better. Their team seems to take about 20 to 30 minutes to actually build into things. I think partially due to the very erratic nature of the backline, not changing every game. So it takes about 20 to 30 minutes for that team to really get going. But when they do, they strike. They did it against Wales, they did it against Fiji, and they've done it quite well throughout the Rugby Championship. Also, England, on the other hand, Scotland is an example of a game of that, where their second half is not as strong as their first. Even back in last year when they came to South Africa in the tour, their first halves die out with like literally lightning, and then they fall behind second half. Is that going to happen here? It'll be interesting to see. Saying that, I think England will be able to put enough on and also have enough game management to hold off, very similar to the Welsh game. I'm going to not say much more than 10 points here. I think 10 points is a good amount. Australia have got the ability to draw in that lead, and England will just keep it out of a point-scoring point in the last 10 minutes, in my opinion. They will get ahead. Australia will most likely catch up, but the last 10 minutes, I've got a feeling England will ensure that is more than a try or more than a score out of reach. That's why I think 10 points is around a comfortable point there. But yes, that being said, it's going to be a cracker. Tune in, guys. It's going to be amazing. Please comment, share, comment on the video if you're watching the game. I am going to start. Please let me know if you'd like me to start a Twitter or that kind of thing. If you'd like me to do any live streaming of the games, I will try and do that. Please let me know if you're interested in that kind of thing. I would love to do it. Thanks, guys. Cheers.